Undead Matt, and welcome to my macabre movie mania. Where was the lightning effect? Weren't we gonna do a lightning thing? Budget cuts, come on! It's inevitable that the show would cover one of the most widely used horror monsters ever. I'm of course speaking of the zombie! Undead ghouls just waiting to chow down on innocent victims. So I bring you one of the best zombie movies of all time. This is George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Since this is such a great zombie movie, I'm a little worried I won't do it justice. But I think I got this.
We got this, man. We got this by the ass.
Dawn of the Dead is the sequel to the 1968 Night of the Living Dead. Since there were no survivors from Night of the Living Dead, spoilers, Dawn of the Dead does not have any reoccurring characters as a normal sequel would have, but it's a progression of the zombie apocalypse, as Night of the Living Dead is the beginning of the zombie apocalypse. Dawn of the Dead is the continuation and the rise of the zombies across the nation. The idea for Dawn of the Dead came to Mr. Romero when he took a trip to the Monroeville Mall, and he saw that there were many, not only hiding places, but you had everything you needed to survive. So he decided to get to work on his next zombie masterpiece. And in April 20th, 1979, Dawn of the Dead was released. 420. Dawn of the Dead drops you right into the fray, as we're in a TV station being inundated with reports of zombie violence, and it's intercut with a SWAT team clearing out an apartment complex full of zombies. And they don't throw any punches and throw you right in with all the fantastic, amazing gore. The amazing gore was brought to us by effects master Tom Savini, who also makes a cameo in the movie.
Say goodbye, creep.
Tom Savini said his inspiration for the gore in Dawn of the Dead was from his time in the Vietnam War. So, that's a thing. Ugh. A producer and a traffic copter pilot leave the station and eventually meet up with two of the SWAT team guards. As they are running low on jet fuel, they decided to set down in a mall for coverage. They initially didn't mean to stay in the mall, but just rest there, but found they had everything they needed to survive. So they decided to stay and make the mall their hideout until this apocalypse blows over. Of course, the mall setting is said to be a critique on mall shoppers being zombies, as well as the consumerism of the American people. With lines like this, it's pretty obvious that that's what they're going for.
I'm afraid. You're hypnotized by this place, all of you. It's so bright and neatly wrapped, you don't see that it's a prison, too. Stephen, let's just take what we need and keep going.
So once they decided to stay at the mall, they set out on the task of blocking the doors and clearing out all the zombies. Once all the zombies have been cleared and they feel safe, they have time to explore and enjoy the mall. And this is where we get the most character development of our heroes.
Here it comes. lady.
Thank you.
There you are. Stephen, thank you very much.
And there is also this weird exchange which I have to bring up.
There's no more room in hell.
What?
Something my granddaddy used to tell us. You know Macumbo? Voodoo. Granddad was a priest in Trinidad. Used to tell us, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Like, so why did his grandpa say that all the time? Was that like a normal thing? Was it like, hey grandpa, do you want to throw the ball around? You know, when there's no room in hell, the dead will roam the earth. Well, you could have just said no. I mean, that was my upbringing at least. And I turned out just fine. As they feel safe in their mall hideout. The true monster of any great zombie movie turns its head. Man! As a biker gang breaks into the mall and causes chaos. This event, of course, destroys their entire blockade and any hopes of surviving in the mall, so our heroes must try to make it out alive. And of course, the most logical thing in a fight between zombies and bikers happens. A pie fight! Ha ha ha! The last two survivors of Peter and Francine make it to the roof and to the helicopter and get away for safety, flying off into an unknown future. The original ending had Peter committing suicide by shooting himself in the head, and Francine losing all hope in humanity and walking herself into the helicopter blades. That would have been a tasty ending. Originally, Dawn of the Dead got an X rating, but George Romero would not stand for that and released it unrated, which apparently you used to be able to do in the 70s. What 70s? What's wrong with you? Due to its popularity, Dawn of the Dead gained $55 million on a $1.5 million budget and was seen as one of the great gore fests of the late 70s. Empire magazine rated it as one of the best 500 movies of all time, and Fangoria magazine said it was the best horror movie of 1979. And I would agree. Dawn of the Dead is one of the most classic zombie movies and sets up all the tropes that we're maybe even tired of today, but were revolutionary in their time. Compared to today's zombie movies, the zombies themselves were used very sparingly, making for a better effect, rather than chasing hordes of zombies tearing through people, shooting them down and mowing them down. It was more about the survival and the characters, and the surprise of one or two random zombies coming out at any time, making for an intense movie, where you're on the edge of your seat the entire time. I also love the bright red blood on a dingy background. Tom Savini originally protested against this blood color, but George A. Romero said it reminded him of comic books of his day. And I really enjoy that little touch of unreality in the over-realistic movie. And yes, since they used a real working mall, it made this movie feel very real and visceral. That these stores exist, this area exists, this whole thing is not just some cheesy Hollywood set, but a real mall. And I love the intensity of it. Of course, Dawn of the Dead is part of the Living Dead franchise, which was started with Night of the Living Dead. Then we had Dawn of the Dead, Then that proceeded with Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead. And of course, in 2004, Zack Snyder made a remake of Dawn of the Dead with slightly better than average results. Of course, with the untimely passing of George A. Romero, this franchise will no longer be going on, although we may get another remake or reboot. But this, I feel, is George A. Romero's masterpiece. It has the best use of zombies, the best use of gore, and the best use of characters. If you have not seen the original Dawn of the Dead yet, do yourself a favor and check it out. It deserves to be in any collection of any self-respecting zombie fan. Now, if you'll excuse me, my friend Bub is here, and we're going to have a party. Oh, hey, Bub, you're calling for a pizza? No, I told you I don't like brains on my pizza, Bub. I gotta go.
Thank you for watching another episode of Macabre Movie Mania. What'd you think of Dawn of the Dead? Do you prefer the original or the remake? Let me know in the comments below, and also hit that thumbs up button because it makes me feel special. And remember, I always do votes for the next episode of Macabre Movie Mania, so make sure you follow me on Twitter at wizard_Matt to get your vote heard. And if you're not too busy, also check out these 2 other videos as they are quite awesome. I'll see you guys later.